At the end of the year or the end of each month, you probably will want to reconcile your accounting with your inventory. So you're going to need to pull these two reports, the Inventory Valuation Summary and Balance Sheet. To know if the account's balance, you'll notice that the Inventory Valuation Summary and the Balance Sheet account, or the inventory asset figures, should balance or be the same. If they're not, then you have some issues to work out, and we're going to show you how to do that. Let's go ahead and get some instructions on how to do that. We're going to click Help, and we're going to search Inventory Valuation and Inventory Asset Do Not Match, and pull up some instructions. There's lots of ways to find the issues that we may have, but there's a few common ones, and I'm going to show you a couple of common ones because they're common to me and I can show you how to fix those. They're pretty easy, but you just need to know a few tricks. So if you will read these instructions here and keep them handy, or at least know how to find them again so that you can come back to it. So don't worry so much about learning it all right now. Just kind of follow along with the instructions, and we will walk through a couple of examples at the end. Basically, you just need to know that the inventory report or summary pulls from items, and the balance sheet report pulls from accounting. So there's two different areas, and you should be familiar with the items list, and that's a common error that is made or issue, and we can just fix it, and I'm going to show you where to do that. So let's go back to the beginning of this list and see where the problems might be. First thing we're going to do is follow the instructions. They're step by step here. Just going to want to pull a couple of reports, the two reports I mentioned. But these will be in detail instead of just the summary. And so if you will pull the reports menu, then we will get started. So the first one we're going to do is the inventory summary, and we're going to do it in detail. And we're going to make a couple of adjustments here. We're going to change this to all, and then we're going to minimize that, and we'll come back to it in a minute. And then we're going to get the other report, which is going to be the balance sheet, and we want it in the standard, and we want the date range to be all and in accrual, and click OK. Okay, so this is my real balance sheet, so I'm putting a little screen. I'm sorry about that, and it's quite long. It's about 3 pages. Yours probably won't be that long unless you track everything like I do, and I'm just giving you that heads up. What you're going to want to do is scroll down till you get to the inventory asset account, and you're going to want to open that up so that we can go into it in more detail. So let's scroll down, and you can find it here. If you'll go over until you get the magnifying glass and click that, and then we're going to want to customize this report a little bit just so we can get it in order. So we're going to go down and put this total by item detail. And so now this list and the inventory list are going to look very, very similar, and they're going to be in the same order. So they're going to be easy to just go down and check off. Now what we're doing here is just pulling them up on the same screen so that they're easy to check off side by side. And we're going to look at each total. So each individual item that you have in inventory, this shows how it got there and how it was sold and everything. So we're going to compare the total for each one, And if there are any differences, you need to make a note of the differences, the item number and or item name, and what is the difference in money. And if you'll just keep a legal pad beside you or something, you'll be able to pick those out really easily. Scroll down to the bottom and compare the totals, and I get a gold star because I balanced, but not so fast. What are all these adjustments about? Well, it's not a whole lot of adjustments, about 3, but let's dig a little bit deeper into those. So this first one, this $2,000, this is basically because I was busy and didn't stop to make a correction. So my bank downloads auto-filled inventory asset instead of groceries on these Walmart purchases. And I just needed to do an entry here so you can see I credited the asset, inventory asset, and debited or charged my personal groceries. The next example is what happens when you do not put the sub-account in the setup of the item. Like I want the FBA to be in there, so since I didn't put it in there, I just want to fix it here in a journal entry. It's too late once it's not there when you put it in on the transaction, the credit card transaction. So no biggie, we just fixed it here. So this last example is more of the same, where the inventory item did not have the proper accounting sub-account in the inventory asset notation. So when the items were put in on this purchase, they were not pulled, and it's an easy fix. But if we go ahead and get the items set up correctly before we post them, then we won't have to go back and fix it. So that's one of the reasons we do the order that we do in the lessons, is to get the information in there. So do as I say, don't do as I do, because sometimes I leave things out and I have to fix them too.